What if we told you that there's a jersey number that is banned from the NBA, or that there's a 4-point line you've never seen before? These are the 12 NBA rules you didn't know exist. First, there's a dunk that's so dangerous, and as a result of these dangers, it was banned by the NBA.
Almost put it in too. Here's Bowie. Shaquille.
Yeah, this dude Shaq was dunking so hard he was destroying entire hoops, putting everyone around him in danger. So in 1993, the NBA was forced to create a no-shatter rule, which says if a dunk shatters the backboard, the point isn't counted and the player gets a technical foul. Man, Shaq changed the NBA. But so did our next rule, because in the NBA, you could be forced to pay millions of dollars just for being thick. See, in 2022, Zion Williamson reached over 300 pounds and became the fattest player in the NBA. So when he went to negotiate his contract, the Pelicans agreed to pay Zion, but with just one little condition: a weight clause that states that Zion has to stay under 295 pounds, and if he doesn't, he'll have no choice but to pay millions of dollars. I mean, they have a rule for everything. The NBA even has a rule for when a team dies. On January 17, 1960, the Minneapolis Lakers were flying home from St. Louis when they suddenly went into freefall, leaving the pilot with no choice but to crash land. Everyone survived miraculously, but this near-death event prompted a critical concern for the NBA. What if a whole team died? After this tragedy, the NBA came up with its strangest rule: the disaster draft. If more than 5 players on a team die, the NBA will organize an emergency draft where the affected club can pick players from the other teams until they fill their roster. Yeah, they truly have a rule for when players die. This is outrageous. But you know what else is outrageous? NBA's farting ban. Yeah, in the late 2000s, NBA players were troubled by Dwight Howard's farting. Dwight was farting so much it became his reputation. Players around the league were calling him the greatest farter in the NBA. Yeah, they actually said that. But eventually, it started to piss off his teammates. So in 2009, the Orlando Magic made the no flatulence policy, which made it against the rules to fart during team activities. All because Dwight, quote, really likes to cut the cheese. Dang. Come on, Dwight.
Farted. Well, that's how we do.
You're out here making them ban farts. That's ridiculous. Man, they really do have a rule for everything. And no one knows this better than Caron Butler, because this dude created the weirdest rule in NBA history. See, in the 2000s, Caron had a couple of screws loose because this dude was obsessed with chewing straws.
Grab straws, grab a handful of straws, and...
How do you know when one's done?
Yeah, this guy was getting bricked up over some plastic. But for Caron, chewing straws was a way to calm his nerves, so he even started doing it during his games, averaging a ridiculous 12 straws per game.
First step.
Yeah, easy. So 12 a game.
But eventually, the NBA got a little concerned because they thought that chewing might make him choke. So in 2010, they decided to save Caron from himself, creating the no straw rule, which literally says players are banned from chewing straws during NBA games. Ridiculous. But look, man, the NBA needed to put its players in check. That's why there's a rule that bans them from using Twitter. See, in the late 2000s, when Twitter was first launched, players were addicted immediately and started tweeting some crazy stuff. You had Shaq announcing when he farts, Katie threatening people. Some players even tweeted during their own games. So in 2009, the NBA put its foot down, creating the Twitter rule, which bans players from tweeting during workouts and allows the league to fine them thousands of dollars for offensive tweets. Man, these guys have got to be careful with their tweets, but what they really need to look out for is other players cheating. See, in 2016, it was Hawks versus Rockets, and late in the first quarter, Paul Millsap is at the free throw line when he got into a sticky situation.
The Rockets had a 19-point lead early in the game, and Millsap's telling him to look at the ball.
Yeah, someone sprayed the ball with this weird sticky stuff called Stickum. And not only was this gross as heck, but it also broke an NBA rule that says altering a basketball in any way is strictly prohibited. So players were left with one question: who the heck covers their balls in glue? Well, after rolling back the tape, the perp was finally revealed, and it was none other than Dwight Howard. And when Twitter found out, Dwight was cooked.
Back to
refs because Dwight Howard, when he came to the sideline, used hands that made the ball very sticky.
People thought he was cheating and they tried to cancel the man. So the very next day, Dwight was left with no choice but to defend himself. But in the end, it was all good, because instead of fining or suspending Dwight, the NBA just let him off with a warning. Yeah, this dude Dwight could do anything he wants with his balls. Well, anything except touching them. Now, what if we told you that in the NBA, touching yourself is illegal? And what if we also tell you that not subscribing to BallFlix is illegal? Please subscribe now so that YouTube won't fine us $20 million. Yeah, see, in the 2004 playoffs, it was Kings versus Timberwolves.
On a foul. Cassell. 3-point lead.
And with Minnesota up 1 with just 30 seconds left, Sam Cassell got the ball and went nuts. Yeah, this guy let them both hang out, marking the beginning of a nut-grabbing epidemic, because from that point on, players across the NBA joined hands and started grabbing their junk like it was their job. But in 2010, the NBA had enough, so they created a rule that says players who grab their crotch can be fined up to $25,000. And with a punishment like that, you'd think players would stop touching themselves. But no. These dudes stayed grabbing their balls left and right, and it's costing them a sack. Because since the rule's been enforced, players have been fined over $200,000 for it. Man, the league needs to loosen up a little bit. It's like they hate having fun. Like, we bet you had no idea that they even banned trolling. Yeah, in 2022, Russell Westbrook played like trash.
Get off early.
What made that possession
so during a game against the Kings, he got trolled for it by the entire arena. Every time he missed a shot, the DJ played this. And after doing this all game long, the Kings topped it off by awarding Russ the ice-cold player of the game. Which is pretty funny, but not to the NBA, because the very next day they told the Kings that trolling players during a game is now officially against the rules. But look, trolling is the last thing players should worry about. Yeah, they need to watch out for Steph Curry instead, because this dude is changing the rules of basketball. See, over the years, Steph shot the lights out, averaging 45 from the three-point line, and eventually, teams started wondering how the heck he can shoot like that. Well, to play like Steph, you have to practice like Steph. This is why in 2017, teams started adding 4-point lines to their practice facilities.
Come on!
Yeah, we're talking about the Hawks, the Bucks, and even the Sixers had Ben Simmons pulling up from half court. Dang, we can't believe our man hit that. Look, we've talked about a lot of rules in the NBA, but there's no way you knew about the original rules. See, way back in the 1890s when basketball was first invented, they had all kinds of weird rules, like instead of playing with a basketball, they played with a soccer ball, and for the hoop, they didn't use a regular net as they do now. It's called basketball because they literally used a fruit basket, and they had to get a ladder to grab the ball every time they scored. But there's one more rule that's just wrong, because not only was it illegal to run with the ball, but you couldn't even dribble the ball either. Yeah, dribbling was against the rules, and as a result, these original rules made basketball suck. So over the next century, they rewrote the entire rule book, turning basketball into the sport we all know and love today. Man, thank God they changed the rules, because we don't think fans would have put up with that. I mean, they barely tolerate the game now. Like, we've even seen fans start rioting over a missed layup. Look, if that all sounds interesting, then you need to click this video right here. These are the times that NBA fans went too far, and trust us guys, you don't want to miss this video.